This morning on our AM Minnesota show, we're going to be visiting with Paul Nemastow. He's from St. Olaf College. Of course, he's got his Cannon Valley Regional Orchestra hat on today. Literally, he had a hat on earlier that I would have loved to have shown you on the on our YouTube channel. Maybe we'll get him to put it on.
I'll go get it.
End of the program. What do you think, Paul?
I'll go get it.
Because that's an old Russian hat, right?
Well, it's from that area, right?
Yeah. And also in studio is Arlene Eliasson. Did I get that right, Arlene?
You did.
All right. Thanks for joining us this morning. Let's get a little of your background, Arlene. You're in the orchestra, I take it.
Correct. I play viola in the orchestra and I teach at South Central College in the math department.
Awesome. How long have you been teaching there?
Teaching there just 3 years.
And where else have you taught?
Most of my teaching career has been in music in North Dakota.
Oh, okay. And now you're doing math.
Yes.
Math and music.
They go together.
They do, don't they?
It's a part of the brain. It's true.
It is true. You're absolutely right. You must enjoy playing in the Cannon Valley Regional Orchestra.
I do enjoy playing and I enjoy it more when it's a hobby instead of when it was my full career and then playing. I really enjoy having a chance to have the outlet on a string instrument.
Well, there you go. How about you, Paul? This is kind of an outlet for you, isn't it?
Yeah, this is not what I'm. This doesn't put butter on my bread. It's for me a fun thing. It's part of a lifelong philosophy, I suppose. I started teaching in public schools, and one of the first emotions I had as I saw the students process through and learn the instrument and then graduate and go on. One of the real strong feelings I had is I really wanted them to continue. I wanted them to go out of the school and continue to play as they became adults. So the first step was if they could get into a college or university where they could do it, and then beyond that. And now, since I've been at St. Olaf for the last 3 decades or so, I have been pushing in the direction of the same thing. In other words, my students who are going to be not necessarily music majors, but are good quality musicians, I encourage them to go on after they graduate with their bachelor's degree and find a way to participate in the artistic community after that. And so I'm doing it by example, I guess, myself, by enabling our own community of Northfield and the area around Northfield, including Faribault, to have a place where adults who have an interest in music can play, and also where their neighbors can see them in another context other than just the normal way, but they see them as musicians as well. It makes me very happy.
Well, Arlene's from Faribault, right?
Right.
How many orchestra members are from Faribault, do you know?
There must be about 6 or 7
Something
of us.
like that. Yeah, there's some from Owatonna too.
How many total in the orchestra?
Well, at any given time, we only have about 45 or 50 on stage, but the resource list is larger than that because not every player can play every concert. Sure, they're rotating. It's a little bit like a big football team, I suppose. You can only put, was it 12 on the field at once? Is that right?
11 on the side.
11, okay, right. And 45 on the side, right. Okay.
But not every composer writes for everybody either.
That's true, yeah. We have some pieces with this. We have 3 trombones, 3 trumpets, tuba, and so forth. And another one, you'll have none of those instruments. So it just depends on what the color is that the composer's trying to create.
And you're in for a treat, folks, on Sunday. On Sunday, you're celebrating 35 years, right? Cannon Valley.
Well, it's the whole season actually. This is the 3rd concert in the series. This is going to be featuring. We're calling it Americana, which is American old-time music in the dance style, as created by fiddlers, and featuring Jay Unger and Molly Mason, the very famous American stars of this whole movement.
So people will be tapping their toes on Sunday.
They could indeed be doing so, if not dancing in the aisles.
Slapping their knees and tapping their toes. I don't know how you can listen to that music and not do that.
It's pretty hard. You can be tone deaf. It's possible to have it go right over your head. It's possible, I guess.
We're going to give you some samples of the music in our next segment. We'll visit more with Paul and with Arlene. We certainly appreciate their stopping by today. That concert is 3:30 on a Sunday afternoon at the Cannon Falls High School Auditorium. Beautiful facility there. They're well playing there. We'll talk about that too in our next segment. In Minnesota today, we have in studio Paul Nemastow. He is a St. Olaf College music professor. He's also the what was your title with the Cannon Valley Regional Orchestra?
Founder and director.
Well, you founded this 35 years ago.
That's correct. Well, upon arrival into Northfield, I asked, "Where's the orchestra?"
Yeah.
And they said, "What orchestra?" I said, "Well, let's form one."
Well, how cool is that?
Yeah.
And you've had no problem finding people that are willing to do this.
Oh, it's always a challenge to be looking for talent available. It's it's a small, it's not a huge population down here, but there's a good sprinkling of musical talent around it. If we do our homework, we always field a good team, and very satisfying concerts, both for me and for the players.
Let's get a little sample of what people might hear this Sunday. I dare you to be able to sit still through this.
That's the part they used to use for the old beef commercials.
The neighborhood.
Bonaparte's Retreat are combined with the hoedown from Copeland's Rodeo, so it's both an orchestra piece and a folk tune. I'll explain it to you when you get a chance. You can do what you want there. But another 2 minutes, minute and a half.
You know, I got to be totally honest with you, Paul. When you said the Cannon Valley Regional Orchestra, maybe it was our leader told me, he was going to be playing bluegrass music. I was trying to think orchestra and bluegrass, but boy, does that work nice.
That's why I'm here this morning, Gordy, is to try to help everybody understand that these are coming from a common root source. That tune was collected back during the Depression by there was like WPA people going out doing cultural things, making art and so forth. There are people collecting folk music. This was Alan Lomax that found this out in this tune out of the bluegrass country in Tennessee, and collected it, and then so it became then a part of the American folk fiddle tradition. And the famous American orchestral composer Aaron Copland had heard this piece back in the 40s, and he wrote a ballet called Rodeo, which is he did a piece, this one, which is he calls it hoedown, but it's the same key as the original tune that Jay was playing. So I think it was Jay's idea to kind of mix them together and then include it in his repertoire for orchestra with solo. I think it's really cool.
Yeah. You were tapping your toes over there, Arlene.
Oh yeah, this is fun music to play. It's happy music.
Yeah, people aren't going to go away crying after this.
No. There's no sad tunes. Well, he's got one from the Civil War, "Hard Times." It's an old Stephen Foster tune, but still the way he plays, the way they play it and sing it, makes it still pretty nostalgic and pretty nice.
I don't know. I don't know that I've ever heard a concert with an orchestra playing bluegrass music. Had you prior to this?
No, we've had sections in it because we would, on a previous orchestra I played with, we did rodeo with some folk music on the side, but this blends it into the same piece in such an artistic way. It's really cool.
So did you rearrange some of this, or just?
Not really. Most of this stuff, Jay and Molly have been around for a while, so they collaborated with orchestras before for many decades, actually.
Sure.
So they have, through their sources, had works arranged for them, and it's sort of, this is mostly coming from their collection, and that's how we're able to do it, because we haven't had to do a whole lot of original arranging, which is very time-consuming and very expensive. And when they're already done, it's better.
They'll be there too.
Who?
Jay Younger and Molly Mason.
Oh, yes.
Oh, otherwise we wouldn't have the concert. They'll be there live on the front of the stage, playing right into your face.
Oh my.
Yes.
Yes.
That's awesome. Are they from Minnesota?
Jay Younger and Molly Mason are from New York. They started their career back in the 60s playing folk music in Greenwich Village over on the east side, and became a part of that whole culture with the poets and the musicians, and then settled on the Hudson River Valley, and they've been doing folk music education and promotion there ever since. He's famous because he wrote the tune, which is the theme for Ken Burns' The Civil War public broadcasting program about the Civil War. It's about 20 years old now, I guess. It's called the Ashokan Farewell, which is a very well known tune, and it's also on there. It's the next cut, actually.
Yep, and we're going to play that in just a couple minutes here. It's right on the next cut, and we're going to hear that in just a few minutes. How often do you guys get together to rehearse this, Paul?
We do a series of about 5 or 6 weekly rehearsals prior to a concert. So we'll start a month or so ahead of the date of the concert. And so we'll go do that, do the concert, then take a little break, and then charge up for the next one. So we'll finish this concert on March 8th, and then our next one is May the 9th. So we'll start in April sometime to get ready for that one. So that's our finale for the 35th anniversary.
So in other words, all these orchestra members have to do a lot on their own time.
They do indeed. They do indeed. And part of my job is to sort of describe what it is we're trying to get out of this music and do what we can in rehearsal time to make them get the feel for it and what it is that we're trying to do. And then they go home and dig around on their own and then come back with it improved, and it just keeps growing over a period of a month or so.
And the orchestra, correct me if I'm wrong, Arlene, is like a mini sports team. You got to have good chemistry in order for it to work.
Oh, yeah. And I will also chip in on the idea that, yes, we have to do a lot on our own, but that's why we're in the orchestra, because we enjoy playing. And so that's what we're there for. So it's
Well,
not a burden.
I got to be honest, when I was in band in high school, I enjoyed playing the concerts. I didn't enjoy rehearsing all that much.
It has to become an experience unto itself. You have to make the rehearsal, it's the conductor's job to make the rehearsal be something where there's a satisfying result of that 2 hours put in, and you feel like you've come somewhere and you've grown some.
When the whole band was together rehearsing, I didn't mind that. But
On your own.
On your own.
Yeah, it's a tough thing. It's part of the problem is, what are you supposed to do? You're sitting there with the horn, you've got the book. What's the routine? Somebody's going to teach you that. Somebody's going to show you how you spend your time alone with a music book and a music stand and a horn in your hand, in your hands. What do you do? It takes some explanation.
So what do you do?
Well, the first thing you do is reorient yourself to the instrument every day. So you say, I am a beginner. I don't know anything. I'm going to start from everything that I know, and I'm going to start slowly with single notes, build up everything that I know and remember that's good, and then try to get to where I am today in a period of half an hour of playing warm-up exercises, so I can warm up my fingers, warm up my brain, warm up my embouchure if that's what's involved. And so I can get from nowhere to where I am today every day that I play. And then I can start to, say, work on some music, real music. So a lot of it's like musical calisthenics.
So being the conductor, you have to be able to play any instrument.
That's not possible. You have to understand every instrument. You have to know what to expect. And through experience, you know, you can look at a page and you can sort of spot things that might be troublesome just from having seen it and heard it before. I'm a dabbler, so of course I've tried to play a lot of instruments.
Sure.
And you learn from that too. But you can't really do all of the instruments. You can't. I mean, Leonard Bernstein was a pianist. You know, he couldn't play an oboe. You know? So,
What did you play?
I'm a trombonist. I still am. And I play tuba too, and euphonium, what you call baritone.
Oh, okay. I played the baritone in band. Started out with drums. We talked about this earlier. Have you always been on?
I actually started out in a small town in Iowa, so we didn't even know what an orchestra was. I was a sax player.
Yeah, we didn't have an orchestra in my school. Yeah, that's why we were band.
It varied a lot in those days. There were a lot of good ones in Minnesota. Owatonna, Faribault, Northfield had one. There was one in Red Wing. Many of those places have had long traditions of school orchestras.
And there's some good bands around here too. I heard one last night. Wasika's.
Oh, yes, very fine band.
Yeah, they're outstanding. Well, we're going to play another piece here. You want to introduce it for us, Paul?
This is the Ashokan Farewell. Jay wrote this some years before Ken Burns actually had his PBS series about the Civil War. And then he just drew on it when Burns approached him about providing some background music for the show. And it became then the theme song of the series, and has since become a big popular hit with choirs, with bands, but other folk musicians have played it. It's a fetching, haunting, beautiful tune. It was a clever piece of writing on his part. He wrote it, but it sounds like it's a folk tune for the ages.
Anything you want to add, Marlene?
Now, it really is just a beautiful, quiet sound.
All right. We're looking forward to it. Let's listen to it. By the way, for those of you who will be watching or on YouTube, Paul's got his hat on now. Just wanted to know. That's not his hair. He's got his hat on now. Here we go.
So Molly comes in with the guitar in a little while, and then the orchestra comes a little bit later. Very nice. Buzz in one of your speakers, don't you? You got a buzz in one of your speakers.
Yeah, it picks up what we're recording in the background for some strange reason. It's one of the things where it's on our engineer's list to fix.
It's supposed to wear out.
It's low on his list if it doesn't go into the broadcast.
There they are. Orchestra comes in now.
I like this.
It's an American classic.
What's this one? without music. I got a feeling there's going to be a lot of it happening.
Oh,
I just hope the viola stay in tune.
yeah, bring on. Keep your tuner with you. Keep your pitchfork with you.
Last week, if you didn't notice that we were having trouble in the viola section, Pat had a C string that was slipping.
Oh,
Jenny had an A string that was slipping, and I had a G string that was slipping.
weather.
Now that is very, very, very pretty. I like that very much. Well, you got a good taste for music, sir.
Well, I have so happy to have met these friends. My daughter actually lives in the area in New York where Jan Molly lives. So I was over there visiting, and they had a concert at the Old Dutch Church in Kingston. So I thought I'd go and just have a little listen. And I met them at that point. And I talked about this 35th anniversary we're having. We're trying to do some special concerts. And said, "Kid, could you do something with us?" And they said, "Oh, sure, we've got all the stuff ready to go. Let's talk." So here we are. It's happening this weekend.
At the Cannonballs Auditorium. Now, we were chatting before going on the air. You said you had not played there yet.
No, I've been in the room, but I have not actually made music there. So it's about time. It's a place that the CVRO should have as a regular location to play. We play regionally, so we play all over the place, and that should be on our list. So I'm really glad we're doing it.
And it's great that you're able to bring the arts to smaller communities that don't get a chance. As Arlene noted, most small schools don't have an orchestra.
Yeah, we're affiliating with them. We're a part of the Northville Arts Guild, but the Cannon Arts Council has just started in Cannon Falls, and they are the main sponsors for this one.
So at 3:30 Sunday afternoon.
3:30 Sunday afternoon, Cannon Falls. Be there.
Is there a cost to this, Arlene?
It's a free will offering.
Suggested donation, $25, but come and give what you can, and bring the family.
Yeah, this is a concert that a lot of the young kids are going to really love.
I think so too. And you don't ask people not to dance in the aisles.
Absolutely, you can dance the whole afternoon away.
Because music should move you in one way or another.
This one will. This show will do it.
I mean, that last piece, I mean, you may not be tapping your toe, but it's a moving piece.
Well, you have to have some contrast. You can't be bouncing around all the time.
That's right. Be bouncing off the walls. You have a favorite song, Arlene, that you guys play in this concert?
Yeah, but I'm afraid it's one of the Copeland ones that we're going to be doing, because we're doing this piece from Hoedown, and then the other one that we're doing is
Saturday Night
Night
Waltz.
Waltz.
Yeah.
And
It's the opening of the second half.
Oh, okay.
So no Molly and Jay, just us. Beautiful tune too.
Do we have a copy of that? Is that your
No.
other CD?
No, I don't think it's with us, but you could, if you want a next show, you want to download it from somewhere, you can find it. Saturday Night Waltz Rodeo, Copeland. It's another one, a little bit like the one we just heard.
So this is something you always wanted to do, a bluegrass concert with your
Well,
orchestra?
we have done bluegrass tunes before. There was a group out of Northville called String Fever, and we've done something with them a couple of times in the past. So this is just a little more concentrated, a little more upscale, and a little more big profile.
In this 35th year concert series, did you pick different types of music?
Absolutely. We started with Chinese in the fall, and we did the big production here in Faribault, by the way, at the cathedral, of Handel's Messiah at Christmas time. And in the spring, we're going to do something in Northfield involving some pieces written for us, and we're going to honor some of our elderly members, and we're going to have a really good showtime and a big reception. So that's May 9th if you want to put it on your calendar.
Other than yourself, who's obviously been with us all 35 years, how many members have been with them all 35 years?
Ooh, there's a couple that came in very early, like the year or two after. As a matter of fact, we're going to be honoring them in May. So there are a couple. But these would be, these are not young people anymore. But they're fine folks, good musicians.
May have lost their lip.
Well, they're playing violin. They don't need a lip.
Oh, okay. Violin player. They don't need their lips for the violin. But, you know, arthritis sets in and all
Yeah,
that.
all this is a factor. Yes, it is. Yeah.
I mean, I got a touch of that myself. I couldn't even grab that CD out of the case. You noticed earlier.
You just watch that Father Time keep walking on there.
It's not really a lot of fun. My dad always used to say, getting old is not for wimps.
That's true.
So we only got 30 seconds left in the show. We'll repeat 3:30 is the concert. It's at the Cannon Falls Auditorium on Sunday.
Cannon Valley Regional Orchestra Extravaganza. And it's going to be with Molly Mason and Jay Unger performing bluegrass music with the CVRO at the Cannon Falls Auditorium, 3:30 Sunday, March 8th.
Yeah.
2015.
John's going to give away a couple pair of tickets tomorrow morning. That concludes today's edition of AM Minnesota on KDHL AM Faribault, Minnesota.